Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about Batman and Robin. Robin is such a dick in this.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand and trust me, the book was better.
Holy crap, I'm back with Jacinta. You are doing double duty this week.
Oh, I am.
Both this and FPcast.
Yes. I'm the ring-in host when you don't find any other
No, that's
more valuable
not true.
hosts.
I think just you and I have such wonderful banter, such wonderful chemistry, such wonderful tension sometimes.
I think that's very one-sided, Luke.
I think having you as a guest on Book Was Better
Yeah.
is the best possible advertisement for our work on FPcast, because people go, oh, I'm enjoying this so much, if only I could get another weekly dose of this.
Yeah, alright, maybe.
Yeah? And you're a Batman.
I am a Batman, yes.
You like the Batman?
I do like the Batman, though I've realised after reading the book that I don't think I've actually seen this movie, which is bizarre because, it came out after Batman Forever, which is still one of my all-time favourite movies, unironically.
And not that long after either, was it?
No, and, I have the soundtrack to Batman and Robin, but I think I just saw so many clips and stuff of it that my brain was tricked into thinking that I'd seen the actual movie, because it's been on TV a bunch of times as well. But I just couldn't remember any of this stuff happening.
Well, it's infamous for being one of the worst movies ever made. Certainly the worst Batman movie ever made. But it's one of those things that, for me, it's so entertaining that I can just watch it forever.
Yep.
I can watch it every year and just still be astounded by how awful it is. And I have that exact same feeling when reading the book. I don't enjoy reading the books generally, but I must admit I had a laugh at this one. So maybe we should just get straight into this whole Batman and Robin debacle.
Yeah.
So it's by Michael Jan Friedman, who's author of a billion Star Trek tie-ins. You might have heard of this one. Star Trek The Next Generation number 56, The First Virtue, double helix 6.
A double helix?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was co-written with Christy Golden. It took two of them just to even come up with that title.
So is TNG like the one with Data and Riker and Picard? Oh, wow. How many Riker stories can he get out? That's great.
The title was so long that they had to get a second author in, and each had to memorise a part, kind of like the recipe for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, right.
He also wrote the New Jedi Order series Nightfall 1, Jedi Storm. and the note here on Wikipedia, or Goodreads, is that the book was completed as the first in a 3-part series, which was cancelled.
All right. I think I might have that book.
It was cancelled.
Yeah.
Aliens, the Alien franchise, Original Sin, which I assume is when the aliens ate an apple and became embarrassed about their naked bodies. And Wishbone. I don't know what Wishbone is.
Oh, Wishbone, that is a massive blast from the past. Late 90s. He was definitely a Jack Russell. I feel like I remember him being a bit of a detective Jack Russell, and he helps kids solve crimes. But that may have just been one particular episode. But yeah, Wishbone was pretty cute. I had a Jack Russell, later on from that. My friends always used to call him Wishbone to piss me off. So I don't have great memories of Wishbone. I get a little bit angry every time anybody says the name.
You don't have a Wishboner?
Certainly not.
Well, it shed some light on these titles, at least. Wishbone number 5, Hunched Dog of Notre Dame. See what they did there. And The Mutt in the Iron Muzzle.
Oh.
It was Mutt Williams, Indiana Jones' son.
This dog was a better actor. Trust me. Very good.
I don't think he's a shitty actor, but I do think it was a poorly conceived character.
It was a mutt of a character.
And speaking of embarrassment, he's one of the few novelization authors to do a gushing acknowledgement section at the beginning of this book, which includes this rather regrettable sentence.
Kudos to Akiva Goldsman for his witty and fast-paced script, which I trust will be a witty and fast-paced film. Oh.
And if only he could take that back, right?
Oh, it's in print now.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why you can't find this book very much, because he's buying all the copies and
That's
burning
embarrassing. How could you... I thought, all right, maybe this script's a bit different from what we saw, but as you start reading it, you're thinking, how could somebody have read that script and gone, this is going to be fantastic? Like, had he not seen any of the other Batman films? Had he not ever read a Batman comic? I mean, he claims to be a fan of the funny books, as he says.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't know, son. Here is the beginning. The prologue. A storm was coming.
8-year-old Bruce Wayne could feel it in the biting coldness of the air as he and his parents emerged from the movie theatre. He could feel it in the way their hair prickled on the back of his neck.
And in case he still harboured some doubt, it was there in the pinkish-grey cast of the sky, and the way the wind swirled in front of the theatre, driving orphaned newspaper pages and brightly coloured candy bar wrappers in a ghostly blue light of the street lamps. Orphaned newspaper pages. That's it's insensitive.
The boy felt himself shiver and pulled up the collar of his coat. He wasn't the only one doing that either. Everyone coming out of the theatre was bundling up. Even the pigeons seemed agitated, eager to get to whatever shelter they could find.
A storm was coming and everything in the world seemed to know it. And, spoiler, that storm consists of garbled one-liners about snow and bat ice skates.
Ah.
Thanks for the origin recap, though, Friedman, because I, myself, am a little bit confused about this Batman's character.
Like, how many times they have to... Like, they're just retelling this story so many times that they have to start giving us shitty details about, oh, people came out of the theatre and they put their coats on.
I know,
Thanks,
I mean,
buddy.
None of this is in the film. In fact, this book, quite like AVP last week, goes on for quite some time before it catches up to the film, which was something Batman Forever novelization was guilty of as well. But you would think Batman is our modern mythology, and this is the 4th film. Maybe we could skip the origin?
Yeah.
But no, and oh Christ, here we go, the adorably naive American concept of heroism. We've always talked about how Americans love heroes. Firemen, policemen, squirrels, teachers. Got to be a hero.
Of course, Bruce's father added. It wasn't just his flashing badge that carried the day. He tapped his temple with his forefinger. It was what Zorro had up here. He pointed to his chest, beneath his woolen coat, and in here. That's what made him a hero.
Yes, use your heart, Bruce. Use your heart when you were putting diamond thieves in the hospital. Because if you beat up some people and save some diamonds, it makes you a hero.
Oh, absolutely.
But you got to use your heart. Trust your heart.
Yes.
How many times what film was it that we saw recently? Was it fucking How to Train Your Dragon 2, which was a good film.
Yeah.
But did that, oh no, like it's all in here, and she points to her chest. How many American films does that happen in?
All of them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being a hero
like
usually...
in Snowpiercer, he did that at the end. He's
just
like,
means beating someone up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or like killing a bad guy or something.
Yeah.
Recklessly endangering everyone around
But
you.
doing it for noble reasons, Luke.
Yeah, for something you want, but usually destroying a lot of other shit that people want in the process.
But that's what's in your heart.
But if it's in your heart, it's fine.
Yeah.
So these numbnuts are basically going to get killed because they went to the movies, it came out, and now they can't remember where they parked their car. I guess in Gotham, the movie theatres, complexes, they don't have car parks.
No, obviously not.
I reckon this is actually pure Darwinism at work. I originally felt sorry for Bruce.
Dumb rich people.
But come on. Have a system. Take a photo of the car spot on your phone. The man came closer and Bruce realised what he'd seen in the man's hand. It was a gun. Bruce felt a terrible chill, an arctic cold that seemed to reach into his bowels and freeze them solid.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is foreshadowing of this the upcoming heist where Mr. Freezes, he freezes everybody's shit inside their intestines.
Yeah, right.
It's really bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah. I notice he uses bowels to describe things about 6 or 7 times in this book, whether it's the bowels of the Batcave or...
Here's a bowel fixation.
The bowels of Alfred after eating some bad clams. I thought this was all very dark, though.
Mother? But she couldn't answer. Martha Wayne just lay there, her blood pooling on the darkly glistening ground around her, her arms stretched towards the equally motionless body of her husband.
You know, it's especially dark for a movie that is about to feature George Clooney sliding down a dinosaur skeleton like Fred Flintstone. Kind of a tonal shift here.
Death! Dinosaurs!
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a particularly long book, and yet the author really seems to avoid wanting to catch up with the movie because we then have a few pages of diversion as a post-trauma child Bruce stares at some geese while Alfred talks to Bruce's psychiatrist, who, get this, he convinces Alfred to look after the boy instead of pursuing a career in the theatre.
Oh my god.
Just imagine this as like, I've seen your king, Leah Al. It's balls. Just be a butler.
A life of servitude for you, sir.
And then it's moody teenage Bruce and this absolutely crazy paragraph.
The university's academic buildings loomed behind it like dark, hoary gods, brooding over an ancient battleground. But it was only a battleground in the most figurative sense, in the sense of clashing athletes. From a literal perspective, it was just a meadow with an oval track in the centre of it.
So basically that's like saying, it was really tense and magnificent. Actually, it was only figuratively tense and magnificent. Actually, it was a bit crap. He talked himself out of it. Like, that's the most passive I've ever seen in an author.
Like, remember the running track at your high school? Yeah, it's basically just like that.
And there's no, like, he writes this really over-the-top description of the playing fields, and there's no going... He obviously stops and goes, oh, that's a bit much, considering what this is. But he likes it so much, he then just steps back from it. He doesn't delete it.
Yeah.
I like that. But this surprised me, because none of this is in the film either. Turns out that Bruce, teenage Bruce, is watching a big athletic man in a navy suit who's training at night, and then he recognizes him as, this blew my mind, Bruce pretended to stare at the man for a moment. Hey, aren't you that guy? That athlete? He pretended to fumble for the name, although he knew it almost as well as his own.
Victor Fries, said the man.
Bruce pointed to him. Yeah, Victor Fries. You won the Olympics last year. I saw you on television. You remember that, don't you? It was all over
He won the whole Olympics?
news, yeah, when Victor Fries, he became his own country and he won the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
He did it all.
Amazing.
No, look, there is some clarification here. Not the whole Olympics, Fries chuckled good-naturedly. As I recall, it was just the decathlon. Bruce chuckled too. And of course, Fries, because this is America, spelt fries.
Oh, there we go. Haven't had burgers for a while, but here's some
Here's
fries.
some fries. Stuff those in your grease-proof pockets. And shit, considering we were just told how much Bruce had been studying everything, he's really not very bright, I've concluded.
Bruce laughed. Yeah, that's me. The world-class what did you call it? Decathlete, said the other man. Bruce grunted. Yeah, decathlete.
Yeah, I think he needs to hit the books a little bit
Jesus,
longer.
Bruce, it's not that hard a fucking word.
Fries clapped Bruce on the shoulder. Everyone's got his priorities, my friend. The decathlon is important to me, make no mistake, but not half as important as she is. And with that, the man jogged across the field to meet his girlfriend. With all he'd read about Fries, Bruce would have known if she was the decathlete's wife. Like, did he know or not? Like, you're the one telling the story, Friedman. Fries man.
Like,
probably.
That's a bit creepy. Like, oh, he knows so much about Fries. Like, he would know if he's seeing anybody. That's really stalkery and weird.
As they met, they embraced. Fries swung her off her feet. Bruce felt like an intruder, so he was going to beat them up, rape them, and steal all their shit.
Jesus. This is very awkward.
Bedroom intruder. And then, finally, we cross to what I think is the present. And Batman is facing a pretty big crisis here.
Bruce Wayne pondered the trap laid out so cleverly in front of him. Lobster thermidor, wild mushroom risotto, julienne of gingered carrots and zucchini, all tastefully arranged on his plate, and beside it a perfectly chilled glass of Chateau Lafite Rothschild.
So, seriously, we have a whole unfunny page about Batman and Robin deciding that their meal is a delicious trap set by Alfred to distract them from working on their cars. Again, not in the film. Still haven't
What
even
a shame.
started the film yet. But the signal shows up and they go down to a cavern where a huge copper penny gleamed under the glare of suspended lights, where a vast array of computer consoles sat beneath 3 large screens monitoring all that went on in nearby Gotham City and its environs. This was the Batcave, known only to a few people in the entire world, all his girlfriends, pretty much. Home to a creature of the night most people still didn't believe in, but Bruce Wayne believed. He had to. He was that creature. If this book existed in a world where people didn't know anything at all about Batman, and this was their first introduction to Batman, this would be the craziest book in the world. Like, a guy's parents get shot, and then he, like, watches an athlete and talks about the Olympics, and then he, like, thinks Lobster Thermidor is a trap, and then he says, I'm a creature of the night.
Oh, Jesus.
He'd just be like, yeah, this is never going to take off. And this dialogue, holy shit.
Mr. Freeze, Batman concluded. Robin nodded. The Bat computer tracks him heading for the Gotham Museum. What's there? Batman thought for a moment, the muscles rippling in his jaw. The new antiques exhibit, including the second son of the Sudan, on loan from the British Museum in London. Robin laughed triumphantly. Of course, he's going to steal that giant white diamond. Batman shook his head. No, Robin, he said with absolute certainty. He's going to jail.
Oh, that's cold, Batman. What a badass.
With his rippling muscles in his jaw.
Now, I couldn't decide if he was addressing Robin specifically here, or if Alfred was giving 2 distinct separate instructions. Alfred called out again. Drive carefully, Master Dick.
Oh.
Got to master that dick before it masters you. It's a problem with a lot of young men. Hormones going through. Dick is mastering them. They need to master the dick and not put the pussy on a pedestal, which we'll soon see in the Pussy Gallery of the Gotham Museum. Classic minor character backstory padding here. So we learn far, far too much of the life history of museum guard Clayton Krupzik. He's a tough guy who is described as having...
ice in his veins.
I have no idea where this is going. And he picks fights and talks about him going through school and he wanted to be a cop, but there were budget cuts and... Do you honestly think, like, adults watch movies like Batman and Robin and say to themselves... Wish I knew more about that guy's school life.
Well, that's what novelizations are for, Luke.
Really tapping into the things that we most care about.
Yep.
So look, we meet Mr. Freeze, who is causing havoc in the museum. So this is where we are actually caught up with the first scene of the film.
It was the villain known as Mr. Freeze. But Freeze didn't look like a man. Gazing down haughtily from on high, holding his fearsome weapon aloft, he looked like some wintry god of evil, some high-tech monster hungering for his soul. And as much as Clayton tried to tell himself that was impossible, that such things didn't exist, his trembling knees were far from convinced. The Iceman cometh, Freeze intoned, in a voice as cold and flat, as lifeless as the Arctic wastes. Then, almost as an afterthought, he cracked a smile at his little joke.
And so it begins. And Friedman ham-fistedly reminds us that Clayton has figurative ice in his veins a couple more times before he clumsily ends the sequence with this little zinger as Clayton is literally frozen.
At long last, there was no disputing it. Clayton Krupzik definitely had ice water in his veins.
Whoa! I did not see that coming.
Wow.
That was clever.
That was like, there was basically no foreshadowing there. It was just like, bang, straight into it.
Straight into the joke. He saw an opportunity, saw an opening, rammed something in it. Before Freeze could move a muscle, Batman hit the ice-covered Brontosaurus and came sliding down its neck. That's my Yabba Dabba favourite bit. Ploughing into the villain, feet first, the Dark Knight dislodged the diamond from his grasp and sent it skittering across the frozen floor. Clenching his teeth, Freeze turned his cryonic weapon on his adversary. Bat on ice, anyone? Bat on ice, anyone?
Bat on ice, anyone?
What does that mean?
Like a bat, like on ice. Like, you have, A bottle of champagne on ice.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Pulling a long bow, Mr. Freeze. Suddenly, the powerful-looking legs of the Brontosaurus crusted over with a thick coat of ice. What killed the dinosaurs? Bellowed Freeze, poking his head out from behind the Brontosaurus. Why, the Ice Age, of course. I guess, I realise now, Akiva was writing a 60s Batman episode. That became particularly clear when reading this stuff on the page. I don't think he ever saw anything beyond that series. And Freeze escapes in a capsule, which blasts towards space, and Batman is stuck to it, and then Robin is hanging off it, and then Freeze escapes from the escape capsule, and then Batman will probably freeze in space, but I'm actually a little more concerned about this.
But there was one thing he hadn't expected. As Batman watched, the capsule's escape hatch opened and Robin lowered himself through it. I was just hanging around, Robin said, gathering his strength after his ordeal. Thought I'd drop in.
I thought this was even more sad and pathetic in book form. These two incredibly unfunny, uncharismatic guys dressed in these crazy circus costumes and saying the dopiest things to each other. Robin particularly, there's not a redeeming thing about either of these characters. And to hear them giving these sad quips just for each other's benefit just made them feel so lonely to me. It was such a depressing book.
They're orphans. They have to get their kicks however they can.
I know, but it's so it's so sad. They're like that person in another movie who would make that comment and everyone would go shut the fuck up, Donnie, or whatever. But in this film,
they're the heroes.
Yeah, and they just say it to the open air or to each other. They don't laugh even at each other's pathetic jokes. It's just terrible. And then we change scenes. We're in the rainforest somewhere and we meet our other soon-to-be villain.
Hoping for a breeze to relieve the dense, humid heat, Pamela Isley opened the door to one of her tents. More a soiled, smelly flap of canvas, really. Wow.
It's our first soiled, smelly flap.
Wow.
In a book.
That's an evocative image, isn't it?
She's in the rainforest doing experiments with the crazy Dr. Woodrow, and they've basically created venom, which will make plants fight back.
Sounds like a good idea.
You do it, please.
Okay, fine. Her lip curled as she remembered. Her mother's flower shop back in Seattle. The way those vandals had trashed it for a lark. The way they'd used their switchblades to cut and slash every living thing in it. Every blessed shrub and perennial and houseplant.
When is Batman finally going to take down that vicious flower killer gang? You can imagine them sitting in their clubhouse going, hey, you guys, let's go down to the old flower shop and trash it for a lark. Those gangs and their larks.
Dang.
And oh man, this dialogue. There was a bright flash of lightning, his face caught in its glare. Woodrow advanced on Pamela again. How I'd love to share my secrets with you, he told her. But I ask you, sweet sapling, can you be trusted? You refuse my invitations to dine. You hide your honey buds behind these sallow robes.
Ew! Oh, man.
Uma Thurman's honeyed buds.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a cereal. And then Woodrow uses the venom to create Bane. I think a lot of people forget that Bane is in this film. Mm-hmm. And he clumsily says that he's named this because he's a bane of humanity. But it was all too unspectacular for me to really quote anything from it. And then Woodrow attacks Pamela and buries her under a stack of equipment, which includes chemicals and toxins. So superpowers going to manifest any moment.
Yep.
And meanwhile, through some security footage, Batman realizes that Freeze also got his powers through a cryogenic accident.
All right.
Because he was trying to save his wife who was dying or dead or frozen.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we don't need to dwell on this plot that much. We just need to highlight all the stupid shit.
Yeah.
But Alfred also is having heart trouble. Ironically, it turns out he's got the same disease that Mr. Freeze's wife has.
Oh. What a coincidence.
I know. What are the odds? So he's working away on a secret plan.
Alfred lifted a micro recording unit and spoke into it. Still unable to reach you, he said. Have vital information you must see. One by one, the screen displayed the files he was copying. Batmobile schematics, Batsuit designs, blueprints of the devices stored in Batman's utility belt, all of Batman's secrets, kept since the night he took to the rooftops above Gotham, all of them essential to the continued effectiveness of Gotham's Dark Knight, and all of them downloading to the compact disc.
All of Batman's secrets, and they take up less than 700 meg. You can imagine some crook getting hold of it and going like, these are the most low-res schematics I've ever seen. I can't decipher any of these secrets. Damn you, Batman.
Man, back in like 1998, a CD-ROM would have been the height of technology.
Yeah. Well, you remember in Batman Returns, he scratched one like a DJ. You're giving me the blankest look. Like, are you for real?
I'm going, look, Luke, I know it's been a long time since I saw it.
No, in Batman Returns, he records the Penguin's voice talking about how everyone in Gotham is an idiot when the Penguin's the mayor.
Yeah.
And he puts it on a CD and he plays it back. And then there's a joke. He scratches the CD like a DJ and makes the voice stutter.
Okay.
On a CD.
I don't remember that, but yeah, okay. Well done. Well, that's even more of a technology. When was 90...
Batman Returns, like 91, 92.
Yeah. Wow.
I know.
Crazy.
I'm going to leave that long silence where you were just looking at me like, that never fucking happened in a Batman film. He never scratched the CD. You motherfucker. You take that back, motherfucker. And here is our Poison Ivy description.
Her hair was magenta, her eyes were a chlorophyll green, and her ravaged clothes revealed the form and stature of a goddess.
They're the best kind of clothes. Ow!
Smiling, feeling a rather interesting change in her body chemistry, she approached Woodrue. He tilted his head with curiosity as he took in the sight of her.
Dr. Isley, he ventured. Pamela, my God, you look great. I mean, for a dead woman.
Her smile deepened. Hello, Jason. I can call you Jason, can't I? You know, I think I've had a change of heart.
Coming closer, she took him in her arms. He didn't resist either. Slowly, languidly, she kissed him on the lips. Then she drew her face back to gaze into his eyes.
Quite literally a change of heart, she added. I don't think I'm human anymore, Jason. The animal plant toxins had a rather unique effect on me. She thought it through as she spoke. They replaced my blood with aloe, my skin with chlorophyll, and my lips with venom.
Yeah, you would understand all of that after being squashed under a whole lot of equipment. You'd have an intimate idea of what your blood had transformed into.
Though it'd be pretty good if, like, you know, she was your friend, and you're like, oh, like, my skin's a bit dry.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you just, like, cut her finger off, and then you just have all this aloe that you can just rub on yourself.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Entire bottom half is compost, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Freeze is hiding in an ice cream factory with sexy snow bunnies.
Uh-huh.
Or as he says, a life of perfect isolation. And he's putting the stolen diamonds in a freeze ray in order to threaten Goat Town. I kind of wondered, I didn't get to check the film to see if he really calls it Goat Town or this is just him mangling it with his accent or what.
Go down.
Go Town. I'm going to freeze you, Go Town. I'm going to freeze all the little goats and all the little kids because I am sick of your incessant trip trappings. And meanwhile, Dick encounters...
A beautiful young woman stood before him, her blonde hair catching the golden autumn light. She was dressed in prim schoolgirl clothes.
It's Alicia Silverstone, Alfred's niece, Barbara Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Not Gordon. I think she's hot in this, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like her in the suit, particularly.
Yeah.
I was reading on IMDb, like, she got too fat for the suit, so they cut a lot of her scenes in the suit.
Oh, okay.
And then all the magazines and everything found out about it and were really cruel to her. And then Joel Schumacher was like, fuck you guys, what's her crime? What, she hates some donuts, so what? She's beautiful.
Yeah, I actually think I remember that.
And I reckon she
in
looks
magazines.
fantastic. So I'm with Schumacher on that. Fuck all your faces. And holy shit, we have a whole page of Alfred reminiscing over an old flame. Nobody wants to hear Alfred's crusty tell-all butler love tales. Just stick to the fucking Batman. Like, Batman is going to be in this book, right?
Somewhere. He's caught in amongst all the padding.
Oh, no, because this plot, Poison Ivy disguises herself as Pamela Isley again, and she goes to a Bruce Wayne press conference and pesters him about his company's destruction of the planet through industry, etc. But the bulk of this scene is really just Gossip Gertie harassing Bruce about his relationship with Elle Macpherson.
Right.
And then there's like a super telescope in the observatory, and it's really weird. Gossip Gertie. It's the most loathsome Batman character ever created. I think she's actually played by Bob Kane's wife.
All right.
Although, Bob Kane banged Marilyn Monroe.
There you go.
It's a pretty good resume. Like,
not bad.
My resume
Not bad.
would, if I was Bob Kane, 2 sentences. Created Batman, banged Marilyn Monroe. 5 words.
Married Gossip Gertie.
Yeah, well, put that on the back page. Anyway, it all leads up to the Flower Ball, which sounds totally made up when you read this description.
Inside the Gotham Botanical Gardens, an immense glass greenhouse set atop the roof of a mighty skyscraper, a hanging banner that read Gotham Charity Flower Ball blotted out the stars overhead. A giant beast mask covered the entrance to the place, so every guest who entered had to do so through the beast's mouth. Drummers were pounding on conga drums, and all the guests were dressed as flowers, all except 2, that is. And those 2 were dressed as gorillas who romped and cavorted about the room as if they were real.
It's like a stream of consciousness fever dream.
That's crazy.
And this place is auctioning off women dressed as flowers. Like they're going to millionaires. They're all like, I'll take Daisy over there. I'll pull back her petals and stab her with my stamen.
Aww. Aww.
We need... It's a shame the audience don't get to see your face.
We need to do like maybe a video blog or something one time. It would just be me staring at you angrily.
Rolling your eyes a lot. And the weird thing is Batman and Robin are there, but in this book, like in the film, they're there dressed as Batman and Robin because it's a charity thing.
Yeah.
In the book, they're there, but they're disguised as groundskeepers.
Right.
And they get like, or janitors or whatever. So they're wearing these brown suits, and I think it doesn't really describe what their faces look like.
Yeah, right.
But I'm assuming like Clooney's at least got a ratty moustache or a wig or something.
Wearing an eye patch.
Obviously, when they got to this sequence, when they were shooting, they went, well, that's a bit fucking stupid, and put them in Batman and Robin outfits.
Yeah.
And it gets even more stupid. But until a vision of loveliness stepped out of the costume, this is one of the gorilla costumes, a creature more beautiful than any Batman had seen before or was likely to see again. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is 1,000,000,000 times better. She was wearing a skin-tight costume that appeared to be made of leaves. Green boots and mask, magenta hair, and the greenest eyes one could imagine. So green, in fact, they seemed to glow. Gorilla my dreams, Robin sighed.
Oh, Robin.
Fucking shut up, Robin. Go wait in the fucking car. You cock. I hate Robin so much in this book. Gorilla my dreams.
Oh, man. Did you say that? Well...
No, I don't
think so. The gorillas and shit in the movie?
Yeah, the gorillas,
comes out of the gorilla, okay.
costumes are in the movie.
Okay.
I don't know if he says gorilla my dreams. If he does, I'm going to go and climb into that movie.
Maybe it was just like, he was saying it, but like every time he said it, George Clooney would just...
Slap him?
Like, yeah. He just wouldn't even have control over his own body. He would just be like, gorilla my...
Plus, you got to remember, this is Chris O'Donnell, who's about 45 in this film. It's just...
He is not.
He wears Crocs. I mean, he's just a cock. And they start a bidding war for Poison Ivy.
Why bid for something as cold as ice when you can have a hot house flower instead? She asked. Some lucky boy is going to hit the honey pot tonight.
Hit the honey pot. Right up there in a honey pot. I'd be all in a honey pot like Winnie the fucking Pooh, I tell ya. And Dick and Bruce are under her spell, and they have a multi-million-dollar bidding war for her honey pot.
Yeah.
which makes sense in the film because they're Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Makes very little sense when they're bidding millions of dollars and they're dressed as janitors. And because of this, no Bat credit card.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie, but I assume that this is an incredibly funny scene.
Well, he says, like, how you gonna... Robin says, like, you know, $3 million or something, and Bruce is like, you don't have $3 million, and he goes, I'll borrow it from you. And then they're like, how are you gonna pay for this? And he pulls out the Bat credit card, and there's a shot. Imagine this, you're sitting in the cinema.
Yes.
Full screen shot of a credit card with the Bat signal on it.
Yeah.
And it says, good until, forever. It's so great.
Ah, he's so rich.
And look, then it says they remove their Velcro janitor suits. They were Velcroed.
Okay.
They probably like tore them off like stripper pants. Because Freeze busts in and they start fighting him. But the book doesn't clear up, like, everybody saw them change, presumably. They didn't go like backstage and do it or anything.
Yeah.
And how did he have his Batman cowl under his janitor costume? Or was he wearing like a large janitor mascot head or something like that?
Maybe he's wearing like a Mrs. Doubtfire mask or something, like over the top of the cowl. Yeah.
But then how would we, the audience, know who they were?
Oh, I don't know.
Makes no sense.
Mystery.
And then after the battle, Batman is really angry at Robin for his recklessness. And Robin is angry at Bruce for his overprotectiveness, but I wasn't expecting it to end like this though.
Bruce felt something tighten within him. Still, he kept his voice even, controlled. Yes, he said, they're my rules, but they keep us alive, and if you want to stay on this team, you'll have to abide by them. Suddenly, Dick was right in his face.
Whoa. Whoa. Suddenly...
That's sexually aggressive.
Suddenly he needed a moist towelette. And he...
Getting turkey slapped by his sidekick.
The ultimate humiliation. So he wears a cowl.
He was just slapping it across his lips.
Then the captured Freeze is taken to Arkham, where some rampant name-dropping takes place. The prisoner rolled his eyes to look up at the man. Allow me to break the ice, he said. My name is Freeze. Learn it well, for it is the chilling sound of your own doom. The guard chuckled. Sure it is, that's what they all say. He indicated a cell with a tilt of his head. The hatter there said he'd fit me for a headband a few sizes too small. The scarecrow promised he'd send me screaming into the night. But here I am, and there they are. We'll never understand why novels reference characters that haven't appeared in movies yet, but probably will appear in later movies, and will have a completely different story to whatever the novelization is right. That happened in fucking X-Men. When he wrote Gambit into the end. Oh, and here's Gambit. He's just one of the students, and it's his first day, and he forgot his lunch. So Cyclops has to walk him down to the canteen and buy him an icy pole.
Well, you know, nerds do need first canon appearances to argue over.
Oh, they just need references. Hey, I know what the Mad Hatter is. It's making a reference. Dick Grayson sat and listened to loud driving music and stared intently at the Batcave's computer monitors. The ones on the sides were blank. The one in the middle showed a news photo of the flower ball survivors. Enhanced detail, he said. Quadrants 14 to 19. That's a classic trope. A corner of the screen was highlighted. A moment later, the highlighted image was expanded to fill a larger portion of the screen. It was a picture of Ivy. Dick shook his head. Who are you? He asked out loud. Poor Dick finds the internet a very confusing place. Why you want cheeseburgers? Tell me!
Why you wear the flowers?
Then Dick follows Barbara, and they do a bike race with some punks until she falls off a bridge.
For a moment, it wasn't clear, even to Dick, if he'd got the lip. Dick on your lip.
Have you ever had a dick on your lip? I don't need to.
You don't need to ask that. As if to underline the question, Barbara's helmet fell off and plunged into the dark waters after a bike. Dick, lips and helmets, Jesus. But they didn't. They dangled there, Dick hanging from one foot as he supported both their weights. So this is where you hang out, he quipped.
You already used that joke once, Dick, you fucking dick. Honestly. And then, more security guard backstory. Like, we've been doing this long enough now to know that any section that begins with Chucky Cockman had been a guard at Arkham for nearly 3 years. He thought it was the greatest job in the world. Like, that's when you start skimming. And it's always guards as well.
Why would a guard... Like, being a guard at Arkham would be, like, the worst job.
And why do you always have to learn a lot about someone who's just about to die? Yeah.
The glare of the television on his face, Chucky reached back and grabbed another handful of puffs. He loved this show, the one where the dad was Frankenstein, and the grandfather was a fat old vampire, and the little boy was a werewolf in short pants. And the dad, the Frankenstein guy, was so big and so clumsy that he could break a wall just by stumbling into it.
So 2 more tropes here. I think this is the 3rd book where the people have been watching the security guards have been watching something related to Frankenstein, which is crazy. I have no idea why. I feel like there's some sort of secret Bible for novelizationists where this is one of the craziest rules.
Was there some, like, copyright thing where they couldn't just say the guard was watching the monsters?
Well, yeah, I don't know, but, like, in the... I think it was in Terminator 3 that they were watching Frankenstein versus the werewolf in the... And I have a feeling in Hackers or something someone was watching a Frankenstein as well. It's always a Frankenstein film. And it's always padding where you're not just told what they were watching, but they start to describe, like, plot elements.
Yeah.
You know, that film within a film thing. And, and then, of course, he dies. Like, when Poison Ivy turns up and breaks Freeze out of prison. And also...
A moment later, Dick sprang into sight.
Nice.
Boing!
Doing. So they investigate, Batman and Robin, they investigate Freeze's lair.
Batman walked along a wall of frozen dinners, running the fingertips of his glove along their forward edges. Finally, he stopped at one dinner in particular, an oriental one.
An oriental one. Nice work, Friedman.
And withdrew it from its place. Abruptly, the door to a hidden vault swung open. He saw Robin look at him in amazement. How did you... By way of an explanation, Batman showed him the frozen dinner in his hand. Open sesame. Chicken.
No, you fucking didn't, Batman. You did not just say that.
I'm getting so much dumber.
Open sesame chicken. Remember when he used to say cool stuff like, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Open sesame chicken. After another pointless battle with Batman, Robin, Ivy, and Freeze, we finally get to the truth.
That's when Commissioner Gordon rushed into the room. What happened? He asked. How did they get away? Unfortunately, Batman didn't have an answer for him. At least, not a good one.
Amen. So...
I'm Batman, fuck you! It rides off into the night.
Open sesame chicken! Am I right?
Hey Robin, remember that time that I said open sesame chicken?
So the final plan is hatched after Ivy kills Freeze's frozen wife, blames it on Batman. So Freeze decides he's going to freeze the entire city into a new ice age, which Ivy will then populate with her mutant plants. And at this new partnership, Freeze granted Adam and Evil. And also...
Dick brushed past him, headed for the back door.
Bruce whirled, stunned. Before his eyes, a monitor flickered into life. The words computer simulation flashed a couple of times under a digitized image of Alfred. I anticipated a moment might arrive, said the image, where I became incapacitated. As a precaution against such a circumstance, I programmed my brain algorithms into the Bat computer and created a virtual simulation, the one you see before you. Bruce stared for a moment, then he shook his head in admiration of the older man's genius. It's good to see you, he told the Alfred image. What seems to be the problem? It asked, as if it were Alfred himself.
So the theatre butler
Yes.
is enough of an engineering genius
to create a digital AI version of himself.
Wow.
Which can hold conversations. You know, and this is a world where 700 meg is a lot. It's a lot of storage.
I mean, theoretically, like, you think about how much, you know, voice acting that video game people have to record.
Yeah.
Alfred would have had to record himself saying every word ever.
Yeah, there's probably a few
Yeah.
nights where they came home and there were just frozen sesame chicken dinners on the table. No
and they all
lobster
they can hear
thermidor.
in like the other room, just Alfred going umbrella, poontang, chickens. Like,
Oh, so he just recorded all the different words.
yeah. And then the
strung them
algorithm
together
would strung them together. Yeah.
on his Pixel Butler 2.0.
Yeah.
Love it. That done, he raised his eyes to the mighty telescope and smiled. It would do the job nicely. More than nicely. Freeze was reminded of the inmate's remark back in Arkham. He looked at Bane. If revenge is a dish best served cold, then put on your Sunday finest, my friend. It's time for a feast.
Jesus.
That's so clunky. And Barbara, remember her? Alicia Silverstone? She has infiltrated the Batcave after hacking that 700 meg CD of secrets.
As Barbara watched, the images on the flanking screens changed, yielding to identical sets of costume schematics. Turning three-dimensional, the schematics began to turn. Forgive my being personal, Alfred's image said, but I must know your measurements, my dear. My measurements? She repeated. Whatever for? Then, all at once, she realised what her uncle's program was up to.
Pixel Butler was making her a profile on Match.com.
Ah, she's going to be getting swiped on Tinder.
Maybe he was making a naked digital replica of her.
Yeah.
A virtual girl to dance at the bottom of the screen. And then stupid dumbfuck Robin is lured into Poison Ivy's lair.
And Poison Ivy lounged on a giant bed of buds in the middle of it all, clearly the mistress of his floral domain. In recognition of Robin's appearance, she touched the buds on which she rested. Ugh. They blossomed instantly, transforming themselves into a riot of colour. Robin smiled. He felt good in Ivy's presence, intoxicated with her beauty. He came a little closer. Is your thumb the only part of you that's green? He asked.
Is your pussy green? Blurted Robin creepily.
Oh, man.
Are your boobies green? I'm Robin.
Are your nipples darker green?
There's one time and the Batman said open sesame chicken and we laughed and laughed. Batman don't funny like that. I want us to be together, the boy said earnestly, even passionately, but I need to know you're serious about turning over a new leaf. You have my word, she told him. I need a sign. How about dangerous curves, she suggested. In the film, she says slippery when wet.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
Even dirtier. Men at work.
Then she realised that wasn't the case at all. This Batman was very definitely a woman. The feminine curves were a giveaway. And if Ivy still weren't sure, a look at the thigh-length boots and heels would have convinced her. Who are you? The villainess asked. I'm Batgirl, the woman told her, her eyes hard and determined through the eye slits of her cowl, and you're about to become compost.
Wow.
Whoa.
So Batgirl has arrived. Batgirl gives her a lecture about feminism
Right.
in this bit.
Oh, okay.
About how she lures men with her wiles and, calls her says something like, that's all 20 years ago, sister, or something, and you're just like, fuck off.
God. And how dopey is Poison Ivy? Clearly a chick Batman. She's not going to look at Batgirl and go, oh, wow, that's Batman.
No, I think
No.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like both George Clooney and Alicia Silverstone, but I know which one I would be lured to.
You can tell the difference.
Freeze is freezing the city, but then a distant flurry of activity caught his eye. He trained the telescope on it and took another look through the viewfinder. It was Batman behind the wheel of a modified white Batmobile on rocket skis, blazing a trail over the frozen river. Also, his pitiful companion Robin guiding a sleek one-man ice boat over the ice, and a third person also dressed in the cowl and cape of Batman, but this one was a woman, it seemed to him, and there was a confusion about it. So she ate a couple of donuts, give her a break! And she was driving some kind of single-bladed rocket-powered snow cycle.
So Freeze can pick out that she was a woman from halfway across town, but Poison Ivy can't when she's standing right in front of her.
Freeze did have a giant telescope, though.
Well, yeah.
I just reckon this has got to be the most least frightening assemblage of people coming to get you on their little rocket sled. So look, everyone will die if Batman doesn't thaw them in time. The city's been frozen. They got 11 minutes. This requires a novelization favourite, action typing.
On the monitor, he could see graphic representations of the satellites flashing green. The word targeting strobed in red above them. According to the clock, it was at 11:58. 2 more minutes. Batman typed even faster.
Type, Batman! Type! Type! Type for your life! Below the telescope hit the rocks and exploded in a conflagration that threw the cliffs into stark relief. For a split second, Batman experienced a pang of grief for the thing. He, or rather Bruce Wayne, had meant it to be a symbol of hope, and now it was dashed. But it was just a symbol. Batman wouldn't believe real hope had died along with it.
Isn't it just a fucking telescope?
Yeah, I'm just so glad, though, that Batman can identify the difference between a signal and a
person.
A symbol and a person,
Yeah.
Otherwise, every time they put the signal in the sky, you'd be like, oh, it's a person! Oh, no, it's just symbolic.
Yeah, and like, he's so rich. Like, just fucking make another one, Bruce. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Bruce.
And somehow they all win, and Freeze's wife wasn't really dead, you guys, because Batman saved her in time, so now Freeze will save Alfred from his horrible disease. Hooray! And look, already, this is the ending.
Oh, what a shame.
Barbara extended her hand. Partners?
Robin clasped her offering. So that's what they're calling it.
Should have clasped her open.
Partners, he confirmed. Then the two of them turned to Bruce.
He stood, sighed, and enveloped both their hands in his own. Why fight the inevitable, he thought. Partners.
Alfred smiled from his place on the couch. I do believe we're going to need a bigger cave.
You can worry about that later, said Bruce. Right now, you need to get some rest.
Alfred held up his hand. If it's all right with you, sir, I'd like to stay right here. I've had enough bed rest to last me a lifetime.
Hey, look, said Barbara, facing the windows that looked towards Gotham. She pointed to the sky. The bat signal!
Bruce turned and saw it emblazoned on the blanket of clouds. They appeared to have thickened and darkened over the last few minutes, as if gathering for some mighty outburst.
A storm coming, he thought. In Goat Town, it seemed. There was always a storm coming, but this time he wouldn't have to weather it alone.
He took some comfort in that as he headed for the grandfather clock that led down to the Batcave, with Dick and Barbara close on his heels.
His high heels, after he decided those boots looked pretty good on her, and got Alfred to Pixel Butler to whip up a couple himself.
He's got Dick and Babs following him downstairs.
Dick and balls. So, that was Batman and Robin. Got to ask, as I always do, was the book better?
Surely not.
No,
surely not.
The movie's a crack up. Just any time Schwarzenegger tries to do comedy, I'm there. Alright, and a couple of Amazon reviews. In my opinion, Batman and Robin the movie was one of the worst motion pictures of the decade. The book, however, is readable. Without Clooney's grinning image, Schwarzenegger's silly one-liners, Thurman's dreadful poison ivy, Schumacher's kitsch vision, and Goldenthal's noisy and annoying score, this book was endurable. If you are a Bat fan, buy it.
You should buy it because it's so endurable.
It's so good. You are wrong, sir. Wrong. God, who's really a Batman fan and hated all those things with that kind of passion?
Yeah.
How would you give the book a pass? It's the same fucking thing.
Yep.
We just read it. It was stupid. Michael Jan Friedman does an excellent job adapting this fourth Batman movie into a novel. Anyone who liked the movie would definitely like the book, and anyone who didn't would probably still like the book. The book is a little darker and more true to the original feel of the first movie, but still has the humorous feel of the fourth too. Definitely enjoyable to read. What I said to the other guy applies to you as well. You were wrong. And finally, this book will cure you in a love spiel like Poison Ivy. Just like the movie. Read.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Wow. That almost feels like a capture, like, movie review. Like someone's taken, like, you know, some of the words you have to enter into to log into a website and just put it into a movie review.
I think he's got a
Read!
The book will chew you in a love spiel like Post and Ivy.
Yes, I suppose so.
And she was doing a lot of posing.
She was, yeah.
There we go.
With ivies.
All right, plug time. Listen to the other podcasts. Listen to FPcast, Fruitless Pursuits podcast, pop culture podcast.
Yep, general
Jacinta and
bullshit.
I every week, every Monday. This week we talked about Felony, the Australian film, and we talk about some other stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't recorded it yet. We're just about to.
No. So, it's a mystery.
And Scarjo a Go-Go, my podcast where I'm watching every Scarlett Johansson film in chronological order. The next one is the very good Coen Brothers film, The Man Who Wasn't There. About time we got to a good one, and it's a great one, actually, so definitely listen to that. And like all the respective pages on Facebook and join our Facebook group to discuss things. It's called The Book Was Better, FPcast, Scarjo a Go-Go discussion. And that's it, isn't it? Nothing else we got to...
No, we're done. We're all good.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you on the bat.
Flips.
Bat Margie. I'm Batman. Oh, Princess Richie.